Hey, welcome, Judy, from up in Cape Cod area. Did you feel the rumble? And Shar, I'm told, Shar from the Boston area, I'm told there was an earthquake this morning. Did
Yes,
y'all feel it?
yes, I
Oh
did.
my gosh, okay.
I
Did you
was
feel it, Shar?
standing in my kitchen, and
Ah,
I heard it as if it was on the roof. It kind of
oh,
went across the roof,
wow. Okay.
and I thought it was a low-lying plane because sometimes that happens here, but it was scary.
Oh gosh, okay. Well, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, okay.
So welcome everybody, and especially we have a people here. We are international this morning. That's a special that touches a special warm place in my heart, and I'm so glad. And I'm standing today because I want to stand for a big idea, and I didn't want to be seated as I normally am. So I'm standing for this talk today because it feels a little bit more normal. Even when I'm working, if I'm sitting down, it feels like something's missing. So today is it's important in the message and it's important in the celebration. We currently have 15, actually 16 licensed practitioners working on our behalf in this community. And today is the day that we celebrate, and we're at the close of the normal Sunday celebration. We'll do a little extra. We are going to welcome Mary Carney, who is one of our beloved members, into the practitioner corps, and Shar Kaver, who I met up in Rhode Island and we became quickly connected, and Dawn Lee Martin, who is coming to us from Alberta, Canada. So I'm very excited. And I love how our diversity continues to grow in many ways, in location, in our complexion, in our sexual identity. I'm just absolutely thrilled that we continue to become more complicated and interesting. And I mean complicated in that there's not a whole boatload of white faces on here. And I love that about us. So because I believe that every one of us brings a different a point of view and a different flavor, and that's how this alphabet soup gets made, and we create the tapestry of life through being who we are. And so today I want to talk about the art and the science of treatment, and I want to do that so I can set up the place to talk to you about what it is to be a practitioner. Some of you have heard this many times. Every time we induct new practitioners, I do something to speak about that, but I really want to emphasize it today in a new way. Before we get there, I want to read something too that, yeah, actually, I wrote it a couple of years ago. And one of the greatest mistakes we collectively make as humans is our unconscious adherence to separate life into categories: good and bad, positive and negative, good and evil, right and wrong. And we do this quite unconsciously. It's taught into us in so many ways. And this very practice goes unnoticed. And it seems so logical to the human eye and the human way of being, but it does not support the life that we necessarily want. As we co create our life, we can't co create a life in a world that works for all if we're in the this is good, this is bad category. If we are in I accept you, I don't accept you category. If we are in the politics of left and right, we can't constantly straddle the both sides and think we're going to be okay. Peace is in the middle. Okay. So if we are going to be part of a world that works for all, we can't get there through those limitations. We can't. They are, even though the temptation might be inherently part of being human, what's also inherent within us is a call to go back to the center. And that is the center of our being. I'm not going to condemn our humanness. I'm not going to do that. And most importantly, it is the marriage of the human self with the spiritual self. It's the marriage of both that creates our wholeness. That's the part that matters. So I am suggesting that we rise above the human condition of right and wrong, and that we seek for spiritual revolution, spiritual evolution, spiritual the peace that comes when we choose not to find fault. The peace that comes when I can look at you and disagree with you, but not make you wrong. And of course, this morning, it's my personal Facebook page. I'll put on my personal Facebook page what I want. And so I put on it last night that I was just overjoyed with seeing Kamala become. I mean, I'm happy for Biden, but I'm so happy for Kamala. Okay, this is just a whole different thing. And of course, one person who happened to be related to me says to me, "Well, you're just dumb." And I laugh and I think, really? That's the response? And the truth is, it didn't land on me. It did not land on me. It didn't land on me for a nanosecond. And um, if anything, I found it amusing. And I don't, and what I've learned from this journey, the science of mind journey, is I don't have to defend myself because I know who I am. Do you know who you are? Because if you know who you are, no person, no political position, no boss, no one will be able to throw you off your center. But you have to know who you are. And that is not a sudden thing that can happen. It is something you have to feed on a regular basis, like taking vitamins. I don't know any one person who has taken vitamins one time, felt the difference, and never took them again. It just doesn't happen. But I am untouchable by words because I live in the heart of God, blanketed by the wisdom of the universe. You get that? I'm untouchable because I'm anchored in God, in the heart of God, and blanketed with the wisdom of the universe. Now, how did I get there? So I didn't get there let's just take the election for a moment, or let's take COVID. Let's take something a little less, believe it or not, a little less heated. Prior to COVID, if you were not someone who was plugging into your spiritual practices on a regular basis, it's very possible that when COVID hit, you were knocked off your center. It's very possible. The work that we have to do to be okay today, let me say it this way, to be okay today, we had to start doing that work months and years ago. It's just like if you want to open a new business. If you want to open a new business, what you do is you choose a launch date. Let's say you say 6 months from now. 6 months from now, I want to launch my new business. Unless you know something I don't know. You're not going to wait till the day before the business is launched to do something. You're going to do something now. When you plan a trip to go on vacation, you plan the journey. You don't wait the day before to get a ride to the airport. You plan the journey. Your life is that. Some of you, and I know because I keep connected as much as I can. Some of you are not necessarily investing the time. I think that The word spiritual practices for some people is a little off-putting. That's something that I've noticed. It is not off-putting to me, but it appears to be off-putting to some individuals. Now, I'm not making judgment about this, but I'm mentioning it because with practices in place daily, with daily practices in place, you are shoring up the foundation. You are becoming stronger, like the mountain yoga position, which is the position where all things start and where you're strong and where you're grounded. So for me, I open my eyes, still laying down in bed, and I first words that might not come out of my mouth but are in my mind are thank you, God. I don't have to say thank you, God, for this or that. I just say, for me, thank you, God. When I when I am a little bit more conscious, what I choose every time before I start my day is I choose to know that the day is glorious in some fashion. Remember when we used to say every Sunday, today is the most glorious day of my life? Let's say that again, right where you are. Today is the most glorious day of my life. And that feeling right away sparks something. Because of the years of forgiveness work that I've done, my slate, yeah, there it is. My slate is pretty clear. So I, but the forgiveness practice, remember, is based on the practice of non-judgment. And so because I am in that practice all the time, and that's very much coming away from it's good or it's bad, to the degree or what I teach about that is for you to say it's not good, it's not bad, it just is. If if I hadn't been practicing that for as many years as I've been practicing that, COVID would have knocked me off my feet. The political unrest would have knocked me off my feet. Now, have I been pretty horrified about the racist unrest in this country? Yeah, that one I true confessions with you right now. I admit I don't find myself as grounded. I'm constantly having to rebalance myself for that purpose. A worthy cause for me to have to find my balance again and again. The things that I'm talking about are the things, though, that practitioners do. I'm looking at the screen right now. I see Dawn Lee and Marilyn and Shar and Elaine and Patricia, Joe Christiana, Dave Schwartz. I see Mary. Elaine's missing at the moment, but I know she's there. Kathy King used to be a practitioner. Amber from California. Amber was in our class. I see Neil and Mary Body, who's not on screen at the moment, but she is. Brian, Jude. I don't know why I can never say Brian without saying Brian. Jude. It just comes together. Louisa. Chris Ferraro's here today. And who else? Kamani is here. All of these people, they are people who have learned to interrupt stinking thinking. I'm saying that to be funny. They have trained to interrupt their own thinking and someone else's thinking. They are there to run interference. So even if you have something going on in your life and you say something to them through a comment or through a question, they have the ability to have you question the reality of the thing that has you sitting in fear. You get that? Through their inquiry or through their comments, because it depends on the conversation, They have studied in order to help you interrupt your thinking. And this is a very critical thing. When you have something that you feel concerned about, the less life you give it, the better. Now, once again, let me be clear, because someone always accuses me of saying that we shouldn't go to the doctors. I'm not saying that. You want to go to a doctor, go to a doctor. Fine. But I am saying that if we get our thinking, our mind and our heart synchronized, mind and heart synchronized, we have the ability to interrupt an experience that we're having so that it does not take hold in our physical body. You getting that? The sooner we interrupt a thought, the sooner we interrupt a worry, the less it has grown roots in our subconscious. Am I clear? Give me a thumbs up if I'm being understood. Okay. This is not something we do once. We do this over and over and over again. We interrupt the thinking over and over and over again. And like I've said in the past, someone will accuse you of being a new age, I don't know what. They'll accuse you of just being too happy. They will.
Pollyanna.
Pollyanna. Thank you, Marilyn. That's right. That's the word. They'll accuse you of being Pollyanna and not plugged into reality. And they'll try to throw science in your face. And let me tell you now, science is in your corner more than ever before. I have never needed it to prove what I know in all of my being, but it's now there. The studies of the brain, the studies of quantum mechanics, the studies of all of that are now proving how we create and co-create our world. You get that? You are not at the mercy of what was. However, it is better to interrupt it quickly. Quickly. It is better to interrupt it on the spot. Because if we don't, it does start to seep into the subconscious, and it's easy for negativity to garner support. You ever notice that? If you're a Facebooker, you put something lovely and happy on Facebook, maybe somebody responds, maybe. But boy, if you bitch and moan on Facebook, you will have followers like you can't believe. And it's just the way we are prone. From Effective Prayer, this is just a small excerpt from Effective Prayer with Ernest Holmes. He says, and this as a matter of fact, I don't remember where this, my books are all packed because we were supposed to be moving. So he wrote in Effective Prayer, the most perfect treatment and copy about how to treat your body and to treat your food as you take it in. And he pulls us back to a conscious realization, again, of right relationship, even with the food that you and I consume. And he says you should think of food as a spiritual idea and realize that spiritual ideas agree with one another in the body of perfection. Isn't that beautiful? They are taken in intelligently, assimilated intelligently, and eliminated intelligently. Every process is already designed by nature to be perfect. And you must know that there is nothing in you or in the one whom you are seeking to help, which can contradict this perfection. A good treatment for any kind of physical problem is to declare that all things are perfect. Life is already perfect. Your treatment is the acceptance of this right action of life. It is the acceptance which enables the healing to take place. That's from our founder. So I want to ask you something. If there was something in your life right now, if there was one thought, idea, or experience right now, oh, and Mary, yeah, I did say Mary Body before, I just realized I was thinking I forgot her. If there was one experience right now that you wanted interrupted, what would that be? Choose what that would be and put it in the chat. Put the one experience right now. In other words, if you're not feeling well, if you're having a conflict in a relationship, right now choose one thing and put it in the chat, and I'll be right back. Let me see what you're putting in here. Okay. All right, I'm seeing a lot about health, procrastination, anxiety, weight, conflict in a relationship, um, no time to waste. Okay. A bunch of different things. COVID isolation. Yep. I got it. Okay. More anxiety. Okay. All right. Here we go. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Okay. I'm seeing it. I'm hearing you. So here's the thing, and I want to respond specifically to those of you who are experiencing this. Yeah. Oh God, I'm still seeing more come through. Thank you. Everything you just wrote in there is something that if you chose to, you could take to a practitioner. I do not believe that I have tried. We are in place now, 18 years, and I have tried, and I'll claim or I'll admit to not being as successful in this as I'd like to be. Practitioners train and are trained to be the spiritual backbone of these communities. Are we perfect? Hell no. Do we have issues? Yep, we do. Do we have things we're working on? Yes, we do. But the people that I have mentioned, the individuals whose names I have mentioned to you just a couple of minutes ago, they are considered professionals. And if you are still someone who is carrying a judgment about paying for a practitioner, just stop it. Just stop it. They have trained hard. They have invested hundreds and hundreds of hours and a boatload of money, to be honest, so that they can look somebody straight in the eye and say something like, Brian, I know for you that your life is unfolding with perfection and ease, and it's happening now, and that you don't have to ever again judge by the outside of what you see. And if Brian is in agreement with what I've just said, he begins to change his attachment to what his experience has been. And I just pulled him out as an example. Some of you choose to quietly suffer. Some of you, for some reason, think, oh, I can do this on my own. I know how to pray. Well, yes, but even the the ministers, we have counsel, we take counsel. I take counsel with practitioners and I take counsel with ministers. And if I can't show up here for you on a Sunday morning, fully alive and unencumbered by my own state of being, I get help first. I want to show up clear. And when I do show up clear, that's when you respond to me the most. And when I'm clear and I'm heart centered, it is when I have the most impact. That's what the practitioners are here to do. They are here to interrupt your attachment to an idea that limits your life experience. Are you with me? You get this? If you pay for a doctor and you pay for a counselor and you pay for a gym membership, trust me, investing in your mind, in your heart, in your peace through paying for a practitioner is a worthwhile investment. And we'll be flexible. Do we have different fees? We do, but we'll be flexible because I want you to have your reality on your terms more than I need you to pay me. My good cannot be denied. My good is God's good. It's going to come back to me. It has come back to me. And I realized for a little bit there, I'm going to have another confession for you. For a little bit there, I was dumbing down all the good things in my life because I know there's been so much suffering. But here's the truth. You know, since March of this year, my husband became a minister and we haven't celebrated him yet because I kept thinking we were going to be back in each other's company. We haven't gotten to celebrate that. I got my doctorate taken care of through Emerson. I haven't been able to celebrate that. Thank you, Patricia. He and I are buying a home. I never thought I'd be a homeowner again. I never thought I would once again be a homeowner. Now we're about to buy a home and tear out kitchens and bathrooms, and we're going to be a mess. And if some of you will have us for some overnights, we'll take it because I want to be out of the dust. We're lining up beds, so in case you're interested, okay? There's been a lot of good that's happened in my life, but I really wasn't saying it because I felt like everybody was really having a hard time. And I know you're having a hard time, but my dumbing down my good doesn't lift you up. You must be in your glory so that you can lift me up and then I can lift you up and then we can lift each other up. Because all boats will rise when we embrace our divine birthright. Does that make sense? You get that? There's been other things too. And actually one of the most beautiful gifts. So here we are, we're buying a house. And not only are we buying a house, we're buying the house we're living in. So this that you see behind me, this is now my home instead of just a place I'm renting. The beauty of that is I never wanted to leave this town. I love Denville. I love being near my sons and my grandchildren. And Neil loves it too. We love this town. So I'm walking into the bathroom the other day and I was realizing how the bathroom was going to be redesigned and it's going to be retiled, and so is the kitchen. But in the moment of realizing that redesign was in place, I also immediately realized it was not going to add to 1 ounce of my happiness. I'm going to be happy about it. I'm going to enjoy it. It'll look nicer. But it does not add 1 iota to who I am. You get that? That's not something I could have discovered when I walked in the bathroom the other day. That only became available because of months and months and years of cultivating my relationship with the divine. My relationship with the divine has paved the way of possibility for me to accept these gifts. God is good. God is so good. You don't like the idea of God? Fine. Life is good. Life is good. And so over the next couple of months, thank you, Marcy Schneider, for saying yes to help me with this. We are going to do everything we can to start creating new connections again. I know that, Dawn Lee, you have done a beautiful job in keeping Marcy connected in your phone calls, and she has just felt loved and supported by you. And I thank you for that. Some of, look at that beautiful baby, Richard's granddaughter. So some of you have still made some phone calls and you're reaching out to each other, but it doesn't look like COVID's ending as soon as I would like it. Sorry, if I was in charge of the world, it would be over. But until it is, we are going to implement love and support. And we're going to do that by putting a networking system in place. So you all get to decide one of two things. Do you want support, or do you want to give support, or maybe you want both? It can be a prayer partnership, or it could just be someone calling you to say, how are you? But we are about to go through a lot of work so that you're not alone. We don't want you to feel alone, because the way things look right now, we might be sequestered a little bit more time. So we're going to have to learn how to deal with this anxiety. We're going to put some classes in place. We're going to put some workshops in place. And for those of you who are feeling isolated and alone, you're not. What maybe might not be doing is you might not be physically touching someone for a bit, but you don't have to be alone. You can make a choice to get, and stay connected. You understand? We're here for you. If you're not reaching out for us, you've made some decision about that. And this is why we have trained for this purpose. So, practitioners in this gathering right now, I ask you all to stand. I ask you all to stand up right where you are, every one of us. Every practitioner current licensed practitioner, please stand. And let us hold energetically the space for these beautiful individuals and for anyone who might see this afterwards, because this is what we are here to do. We are here to know you, to love you, and to see the truth of your being. On this day, this treatment is about how we as practitioners are here to show up on your behalf. We are here to be the place where love resides. We are here to hold truth as the principle that transforms lives. We are here to celebrate our beautiful and stunning diversity. We are here to remain curious at all times, to interrupt the stinking thinking that would have us have a life experience that's less than miraculous. Because if the miraculous is not your everyday experience, then we are here to support you for it to be that way. Let us feel the love that even though we are miles apart, love transcends all the miles. Love seeps in at a cellular level. Prayer seeps in at a cellular level. Please feel the love that is here in the room and know that we have done all that we have done for you. For you. Yes, for ourselves, but for you. We don't have to be licensed to do this for ourselves. The license is so we could do it for you. So let us feel the love. Breathe in the love. Let out a sigh. And just be grateful for the beauty and the glory of life itself. And so it is. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Michelle. And that takes us into the song.
You might want to stand up for this song, folks. You just might want to.